They are quite literally in the walls.
What are we talking about? What is that?
Is this your intro now?
I'm so confused. I thought we were doing...
Yeah, they are in the walls.
Oh.
They're in the walls.
Kind of reminds me of the last movie we did. Inside Out.
This is Parasite.
This is just Inside.
This is, I guess, if you want to say it's Korean Inside Out, because people always say that every Korean movie is like every other Korean movie.
Another movie that involves Asians. This one specifically of my people, Koreans.
Jarvis is biased against certain kinds of movies, so we have to hit a quota.
I never said that. That is not admissible. But it's true. And he's right. And this is one of those movies that, just like the last movie we did about Asians, involves some crazy rich ones.
Yeah. Some people call this the Korean Hamlet. And by some people, I mean just me right now.
Yep, you heard it here. Korean Hamlet. A.K.A. Parasite.
It's not as funny as you think it is, Sybil. This joke was not as funny as you thought it was.
Kind of like Inside Out. It wasn't as funny as you thought it was going to be. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Are you gonna intro? Are we gonna do this thing?
Full-time movie fans.
There you go.
Man, I always forget about this until a few minutes in. It's like playing the beginning credits 15 minutes later.
Ugh. Don't you hate it when you go to a movie and you're like, yeah, I got 15 minutes of credits of a
movie?
Yeah.
And then the opening credits start?
Yeah. And then there's like, well, no, you go in and you're like, okay, it should be starting now. It's like 5 more minutes of previews.
Oh, man. I think I was like 20 minutes, like after getting popcorn to one movie, I can't remember which one, 20 minutes. And there was still like one more preview. I was like, this is ridiculous. It's getting kind of crazy up in here.
Yeah, it's too many.
With the ads in the previews.
Yeah. I get it. You gotta make a buck. I get it. But like, come on, movie theaters.
At what point? At what point does it become too much?
When it's like a $50 endeavor for us to go out to go watch a movie, that's too much.
It's too much. You know what else is too much?
How much I love this movie?
No. How I still haven't introduced this. I'm your host, Jarvis. This is Full-Time Movie Fans, and we're casually reviewing another movie. This is my co-host / just host, Michael. Who's co-host? You put in the comments who you think is who's co-host.
Yeah, who's the primary? Who's the secondary?
Who's the secondary host?
Who hosts who?
Yeah. Technically, you're hosting me.
This is my house.
But yeah. Speaking of houses and hosts, we're talking about Parasite.
Good segue.
And
actual good segue.
Can you give us?
You made it,
dude. We should just Photoshop a little me on a Segway just going across the street.
That's good. Yeah. It's only when you have a bad one though.
Yeah.
So that we have a good segue going.
Which
across.
would happen a lot. You'd see a lot of me on little Segways for all the bad ones. But Parasite. Let me ask you this, because this is a movie that I know that you actually said, I think in a previous movie review, that you didn't see the movie when the Oscars came around. And you were upset that it lost to La La Land until you actually saw it. Mm-hmm. And then you realized, wow, this movie's much better than La La Land.
So I can give you my full impressions.
Sure.
Including all of the context around my impressions.
Before you do impressions, which I expect you to do the rest of this review.
I've got a pretty
Michael
good
Douglas.
Oh, I was gonna say I got a good Kermit the Frog.
Okay, Kermit the Frog would be just as good. But and I have no idea why I said Michael Douglas.
I have no idea either.
I don't know where that came from. That was an improv myself. Anyways, can you give us some facts about the title Parasite and why this movie is named Parasite?
The title's a spoiler. The title is 100% a spoiler.
This whole thing is a spoiler if you don't know by now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're watching us and you haven't watched the movie and you want to watch the movie, you should probably go do that, because everyone dies at the end. I said it at the beginning. It's Korean Hamlet. It's not really, but like that's a spoiler in itself. Parasite it's a play on the theme of the movie, and the theme of the movie is a social commentary of the like economical problems in Korea.
I mean, I would say just everywhere. Revolving.
Yeah, but this one's very specifically
Yeah.
Korea. Like that's a confirmed one. But yeah, it's as of right now, it's doing a very good job of explaining how all of it is.
Yeah.
Especially with like
humanity.
squatting on the rise and everything too. Yeah. So the title Parasite is because
Speaking of squatting, I actually have an interesting fact about that. Being a child in Korea at my grandparents' house, they did not have indoor plumbing, so I had to squat to use the bathroom in an outhouse that was just a giant hole in the ground.
you heard it here.
Squatting is still a thing in Korea, but not in the way you think, but also in the way that you think. I'm sorry,
Anyways,
that was a poopy thing to say.
it's called Parasite because it's talking about how people see leeching off of the wealthy as a better way to get higher up in their lives.
Well, it's both.
It is both,
yeah,
and the
parasites to each
rich
other.
are leeching off of the poor by utilizing them for goods and services, so that they don't have to pay good prices for things.
Or do their own
It's
housework.
it's a very bold commentary that, you know, if done right is really good, and if done poorly, bad, very bad. You tell me which one I think it is.
Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. That's a Brendan Lee Mulligan thing. Are you a fan of Dropout?
Yeah.
Get in the comments.
Never seen
I love Brendan Lee Mulligan. He's not a famous movie guy. He's online famous, which means something here for me.
I think we hope to be online famous someday.
I don't. That's debatable for me, but you know, we'll get there.
With your help.
With your help, you can make Jarvis's dreams of me come true.
Like and subscribe now.
Subscribe now.
For your investment in our future internet fame.
So here are my impressions of this movie.
Ask Kermit.
It came out. Oh God.
No.
So my impressions. No. This movie came out in
Several years ago.
2019. Same year that La La Land came out, and I love La La Land. Look, I'm big. That's a comfort movie for me, is La La Land, and it was very fun. I love movie musicals, especially when they hit really hard, like that one did. It's also about people wanting to fulfill their life dreams. You're right, but movie musicals. That one was a stage musical first. There's very few actual movie musicals. And this is one of them. Big La La Land fan. Watched it, I think, 5 times in theaters.
That's less times than I've seen Game Night.
Exactly. And that means something. He loves Game Night, as you know from the review. And so I went into... Oh, and it was also the same year that Joker came out. And I saw Joker in theaters, and I was like, well, this is a really uncomfortable movie, but it's also a really good like social commentary about where we are in America and how the like super rich are super rich and kind of out of touch, and how the extremely poor are extremely poor and also kind of out of touch. And so it's like...
2019 was just a year for that, I guess, huh?
I guess, yeah. And so I went into it, and I was like, okay, well, I mean... Joker was a good movie. I could see it winning an Oscar. La La Land is my pick for Best Picture. And then Joker got steamrolled entirely. And I was like, oh man, but it was so good. And La La Land got snubbed for Best Picture by Parasite, a movie I'd never heard of to that point. And I was like, well, this is stupid. This is the dumbest thing in the world. I can't believe that this is just coming out of nowhere. Yeah, the Oscars are pandering to the woke community.
They've lost all credibility.
No, and then I talked to my friend Todd, who is also a very big film guy. I met him in film school.
First name is Sweeney.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. I almost said his last name. It's a really hard last name to say, so it would not be good for me to just dox him on the internet.
Yeah, don't put his government.
There is only one of him for sure. But I told him, I was like, man, I just really wish that La La Land had gotten. He said, no, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. This movie's so good. It talks about like income inequality and like how we treat people. And I was like, but Joker did that. And he goes, fuck Joker.
With all due respect.
This one's so much better. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and I watched it and got disheartened that there was no English dub. I had to watch it with subtitles.
So difficult.
I know. And then I watched it and I was like,
Poor
oh my God, this movie's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I went in despising everything about it, and then I came out the other end like, this is the phenomenal movie.
Yeah, dude. Well, see, that's what we talked about. Like, Asian culture and Asian movies are now, like, becoming more of a thing here.
Yeah.
And the fact that it won at the Oscars was historical moment.
Mm-hmm.
Historical moment.
Yeah.
So.
And I think he won like 3 Oscars that night. I remember watching it.
Yeah.
And he just started crying. I think by the time that he got... I think the thing that made me so mad was he got Best Picture. And then at that point, he was like, I already said everything I had to say. I'm getting drunk tonight. And I was like, come on, dude. You won Best Picture. And then I watched the movie. Oh no. And then I watched the movie, went back and rewatched his Oscar speeches. And I was like, no, he's genuinely like the nicest dude.
He's freaking out. Yeah, he is. I know he's freaking out. I mean, what a huge... it's hard to imagine what that kind of recognition...
Oh, you keep talking. I have something on my bookshelf that relates to this.
Oh, shoot.
Keep talking.
Let's do that. Yeah. So, see, now that you're not here, I don't know what to say. It's just me. So awkward. But I'm glad that Koreans are getting some recognition for some things. There's a few like...
I have a book about it. This is the actual storyboards for the movie put to the script.
Wow.
This is how much I like this movie.
You really liked Parasite.
No, it was really good. It's really good, and everybody should buy this book because it's really cool. It does break every scene down. Let me see if I can find a good, like, color-coded, script notes, everything. It's all in there. It's super cool.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Which makes my little film nerd brain very happy.
Yes, it does. Man, that's pretty cool. I think it's very cool that that he's getting that kind of recognition for his movie. I mean, to imagine, like I said, to imagine what that's like, to get that kind of recognition in one of the biggest, like, from Hollywood. I think that's a huge flex. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's something that, for many, will never get that kind of an honor, to win that kind of award. And he did.
He did.
He deserves to get drunk in celebration.
I'm being told that my timeline's off, and I'm upset about it. But the story remains true. I didn't like it because of something. And you guys can guess in the comments what I'm wrong about.
But you were wrong about not liking it.
Yeah, I was wrong about not liking it. That's for sure.
And yes, what you said, this movie is more than just what it seems to be on the surface. There's so much subtext and meta commentary on social classism and just even in the small things. Mm-hmm. There's something deeper to be found.
So what were your impressions? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I mean the movie it's incredible. Like you talk about, I think this is something that's important for me, and you'll hear me say this in next week's video, which is going to be The Last Jedi. Is that you go to a movie? I mean, maybe you're different than me, but I think for the most part, I hope I'm not crossing the line by speaking for you in this, but I feel like we don't want a movie to be super predictable.
Yeah.
And I think that's getting harder and harder to do the more movies you watch that are older, and you see quote unquote newer movies that are just like, oh, this is that story. It's just repackaged. And depending on, I mean, it can be repackaged well, don't get me wrong, in kind of a fresher, a fresh take on an older idea. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you see a certain movie and then you'd be like, oh, this is just this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, for me, I always compare the Taken movies with the Equalizer movies, which the Equalizer movies with Denzel are remakes of older Equalizer movies, and so that kind of thing has been around for a while. And the Equalizer movies are also another take on friggin' the Man on Fire that he did, that Denzel Washington did way back when, and Dakota Fanning was, a young child actor. And so I would say that this movie was pretty new and refreshing to me when I saw it. I didn't immediately think, oh, this movie is that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, this is new and interesting. Kind of like The Last Jedi was trying to be. New and interesting and subverting expectations.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just to subvert expectations, although some could argue that, but I would say that this was a very original story from what I could tell. Do you concur?
Yeah, I have no idea where this story came from. So yeah,
It came from that dude who wrote it.
Joon-ho,
Yeah, that guy.
who wrote and directed it, by the way, is really good.
Yes.
Is it based off of anything? It doesn't say it is. So yeah,
I mean,
that was him.
There's no doubt he took inspiration from.
Well, yeah,
other
but it's not
movies.
like a direct
Yeah.
he got it from this book.
Yeah. He
Which is
wasn't
good.
remaking it from
No.
movie in the past.
No, it's all him.
Do you want to start walking through the movie itself?
Yeah. We got two families.
Count them.
Two of them.
One.
We got the Park family and the Kim family.
Both the most common last names in Korea.
Yeah, but
My mom's main name was Kim. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that
checks
made
out.
it really easy.
It checks out.
The Park family is extremely rich, and not crazy rich, but extremely rich.
Yeah.
And the Kim family is extremely not. They describe them as destitute, which is, kind of accurate. They live like underground, basically.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, their first floor is at eye level with the ground outside,
Yeah,
where people walk.
which is crazy. Like actual eye level with the ground.
So they're kind of portrayed as subhuman.
Yeah,
Get it?
that's good. That was a good one.
Subhuman.
You're on a roll with these ones. Jarvis is getting them today.
Still got it, baby.
Still got it. But we see them and see how their life basically plays out, which is like they do small odd jobs and like
Yeah, folding
scrunch
pizza
pennies
boxes and
and like eating whatever they can get for real cheap.
yeah.
They spend a long time on it in the movie, but like not a long time, like it gets boring, but like a long enough time that you're like, okay, like they're like poor.
Yeah.
They're like reaching into the like top level of their bathroom, standing on the toilet, trying to get a reception on their
From
phone
somewhere else. Yeah.
so that they can
Probably stealing.
call somebody back
internet.
about a job.
Yeah.
And the whole family, their current job is folding pizza boxes.
Yeah.
And I believe their son wants to go to school or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't precisely remember, but it was something where he's like, "Oh, they don't have the money for
They're
that."
trying to go to college or something.
Yeah, there's no way you could do that. And then on the extreme opposite end, we have the Park family. The Park family is rich. They got like personal drivers. He's an executive. The dad's an executive at some company. The mom's a stay-at-home mom. They got 2 kids and a housekeeper. Like
A huge house with an extremely large backyard, which
is crazy
real estate is crazy
in Korea.
because, I mean, most Asian places are struggling for as a older civilizations. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're so saturated, so land is very hard to come by. They built upwards.
yeah,
Most people live in apartments and stuff like that, or condos, whatever you want to call them. And so we have a lot more space here in America as a newer,
yeah.
country.
Mhm.
So they have a nice backyard, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they have a nice backyard, and they do. It's a very nice backyard.
Very desirable to have a nice backyard, if you can.
And so one of
Some would say you
the
have to be born into it.
yeah, well,
A nice backyard.
definitely. So one of the Kim family, I don't know his name. It's Choi Woo?
Try that again.
No,
Try it
Kiwoo.
again.
Kiwoo. Sorry, I was seeing. Yeah,
How
I'm
dare
gonna have
you.
to do this a
You
lot.
better watch-
Why aren't
better
you
watch
doing
your
this
mouth.
part? Why aren't you doing
better
this
watch your
part?
mouth.
His name's Kiwoo.
We're trying to get our videos.
Demonetized? Yeah, because they were monetized in the first place.
Yeah. At some point.
Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, but
get in the comments.
But at some point, and if you keep talking like that, it's never gonna happen.
So
Sorry, that's a
Kiwoo,
bit
can I
odd
call
to
him
me.
Ki? So Kiwoo.
Okay. I don't know.
One of his
Yeah.
friends tutors the Park family's daughter in
Yeah.
English,
Yeah.
and is about to move off to college. And he's like, "Hey man, I could hook you up with the job if you want. It pays really well."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know how to tutor. I didn't even graduate." And he's like, "It's not important."
Yeah, and this is the weird part where he talks about wanting to date her
Yeah,
or marry her
yeah.
or something.
That's also you said something about this before.
Yeah, beforehand it's very weird. It's a thing in Asian culture for
You see it in Japanese like entertainment a lot too.
Yeah. I think it's just an Asian thing, I guess, that to look at high school people
Yeah.
as potential significant others, which is kind of weird as someone who's
Yeah.
older and at college age.
Yeah.
Because I think, aren't they like in their 20s, 21, 22?
Oh, for
or
sure.
older than that?
There's some. Yeah, they're
And
adults.
This is a
a 16-year-old
kid,
Yeah.
and they're talking about, I think doesn't he say like, hey, once I graduate, I'm gonna ask her to marry me or something
Yeah.
like that. He tells his friend that, and then he's like, oh, hey, why don't you tutor her?
Yeah.
And then
And he's like,
later
okay,
he also does that. Has
right.
that
He
same-
does the same thing.
Yeah. Which is super not cool.
Yeah, but I also think that that's supposed to illustrate the like marrying into a rich family so that you can
Or the predatory nature of
Or
poor
both.
people
or
to
both.
take advantage.
Yeah.
Of rich people.
So the son gets the job as a tutor,
Yeah.
and
He
he
interviews
and
well.
he goes to their house and is like, "Oh my god, they're like rich." He interviews really well. He goes to their house a couple of days a week, and then at some point the mom brings up something about her son, the Park family's son, about him not doing well, drawing weird things, and Kiwoo is like, "Oh well, I know somebody who's an art therapist. Like these are very disturbing drawings, and you should probably get him checked out. I could see if she would be interested in working with you, but she's pretty exclusive, so she doesn't like work with a lot of people. She'll only take you if she really wants to." And the mom's like, yeah, please, absolutely. It's his sister.
Money is no option.
Yeah, money's no option. Whatever it takes to make sure her little baby's okay.
Yes.
And so it's Kiwoo's sister.
Yeah, and she kind of photoshops a certificate
Yeah.
showing that she
dresses
from
real
his sister.
nice.
She plays the part super well.
She does better than he does for sure.
Oh, by far. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like she actually. You're convinced that she actually is what she
Oh,
said she is.
absolutely. Yeah,
The-
she's
the
really
way
good at
that
it.
She talks, the way that she handles herself is
She comes in and does art
Masterpiece,
therapy
yeah.
like once or twice a week or whatever.
gets paid lots of money.
Eventually, it escalates more, and they're like, "Okay, so two of them are in. How do they get mom and dad in
Oh,
there
yeah.
too?" And they start plotting to get their driver and their
The housekeeper.
housekeeper like kicked out somehow.
And they do.
And they start with the driver because that one's easier. Think that they framed him for like using the car. Yeah, they framed him for using the car for like.
The sister, I think, takes off a pair of underwear and leaves it in the car.
Yeah, to make him look like he's using the car for devious deeds. So they fire the driver, and they're like, "But we need a new driver." And they're like, "Oh, we know just the guy, best driver that you could ever want. It's their dad."
Who was pretty good at driving cars, from what I could tell.
Yeah, he does a
also knows
decent
what he's
job.
doing.
Yeah, decent job of driving cars. And then it escalates further, and they're like, "How do we get the housekeeper out?" The housekeeper was there before they moved in. Like the housekeeper was there with the house before the Park family got the house.
Yeah.
So that was a task, but they basically made her life a living hell, and then
They were basically using her allergies against her, weren't they?
yeah.
They found out what she was allergic to, and it's kind of poisoned her a little bit.
And then I don't remember what exactly got her out of the house permanently, but the family fired her.
Yep.
Which was a really sad moment. And then the mom got to be the new housekeeper. Yay. Then they made it. And then, so what's their plan? Is it to just make a decent amount of money and live off of what they have? And
that might have been,
get a new place to live? No, absolutely not. They're planning on taking the house over. Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't even really know how they were planning to do that, but they did get the opportunity to live the high life when the Park family went to go on a camping trip. They all got to stay at the house. It was a great little moment where they all are like, yeah, this is what it would feel like to be rich, and this is very nice, and we should definitely do this.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like the impression that at the beginning gives off is that both families are, not bad people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And that's something that you see later on. As the movie goes on, you see, wow, but, because, I think there's, it's a social thing, and I think everywhere, that just richer people are just nicer people. And even though they are nice on the surface, you know what I mean? Their flaws and their cruelness comes out a little bit later. Whereas wait, which one's the rich ones? The Parks, right?
The Parks are the rich ones, yeah.
Yeah, and so the Kims are kind of the, they're like, okay, well, these guys are obviously opportunistic and crappier people. The way it goes off, just because that's how we view poor people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a really smart move of them to get all of the jobs, even if it was getting a little hairy there and shitty there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then to the point where I think the point where they actually turned into the bad guys was when they got the housekeeper out, and then we're still trying to take more. They're still trying to get more and more out of it.
Yeah. I think by that point, just getting paid what they were, that was already way more than they were getting folding boxes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Their quality of life probably
Yeah, none of them were at home anymore. They were all hanging out around the Park house. And so the Park family goes on this camping trip for their son because he wants to go camping for some reason. And they get to have this little shebang at the house by themselves, eat whatever they want, drink whatever they want. And they're living the high life. And then they get a ring on the doorbell. And it's the old housekeeper who is desperate to get inside. She's like, oh, I forgot something. I need to get in there immediately to get something. And they're like, absolutely not. You can't come in here. You can't be here. Go away. A small little fight ensues, and she gets in. And basically kicking and not kicking and scream. She snuck in for a moment to go get something. Disappeared, and the family is like, what's happening? Where is she? She said she's just gonna grab something real quick, and then they found her sneaking around in the kitchen trying to. Oh no! They heard her struggling, and they went into the kitchen, and a bookshelf cabinet moved out of the way.
Yeah.
Down into a
secret basement,
and she's trying to push another. Shelf out of the way in there, and she's like, you have to help me, I need to get into this. And they're like, okay. They push it open. Her husband her destitute husband, the housekeeper's husband,
when they got fired,
was in the no he wasn't the driver.
No, the housekeeper's
the housekeeper that got fired. Yeah,
her husband living in the basement.
They apparently were just living in the basement the whole time. And he was stuck there because the thing was jammed. And so he was just stuck there, no food, no nothing, couldn't get out. And this is where they had a moment where both the housekeeper and her husband and the Kim family were like, You bitch, you're using them. But at the same time, so like, well,
how dare you do?
I can't tell it. You can't. Yeah, yeah. And the Kim family's like, hey, y'all should leave because this is a great idea, and we're definitely going to use it. And they're like, no, we live here. We don't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
And you screwed up our lives. So a big old fight ensues. Still,
I think a murder happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. They kill the ex housekeeper's husband. The Kim family father gets locked in the room and can't get out. The old housekeeper runs off to go somewhere, do something, I guess. I don't know. And then the Park family returns early because it was raining too hard. They couldn't go camping, so they were just going to go camp in the backyard. So now all of the Kim family has to hide, except for the one person who was supposed to be watching the house, which was their mom.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they're like hiding in plain sight underneath the table.
Yeah. And so all of this mess is happening like all at the same time while their dad is still locked up in the basement with a dead corpse.
Yeah.
And
so much symbolism.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much stuff just like happens.
It's very tense and stressful as you watch it.
And no, the dad gets out at some point because they do the birthday party thing. I think what happens is they woke up the next morning or something. And they got everything taken care of, but he ends up back down there at some point. I don't remember. Oh, I do remember. We'll get there. Spoilers: the guy's not dead. That's how he gets back there. So the next thing that happens is basically it's the Park family's son's birthday coming up, and they want to throw a last minute birthday party. So everybody's having to drive around and go get stuff.
Isn't it a Cowboys and Indians?
Yeah, it's a cowboy and Indian themed birthday party. It's
Indian
so silly.
As a Native American.
Yeah.
Which I think that's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's a little
not part of their culture at all.
No, I can see why a little boy would be into it though.
Do, but I will say this about Korea: they do like a lot of American stuff. I think we talked about Crazy Rich Asians. An American thing is Christianity. Yeah, has become a Christian thing or an American thing. Yeah, and that's big over there actually. Korea,
well, and all of American things are big over in Korea.
It's funny. Their American food is not very American. Like what they call American toast. Like it's so funny. It's not American at all. You will never find American toast.
I did used to binge watch a lot of Korean street food videos.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely. They love eggs. Yeah, they love cheese.
They love cabbage.
They love cabbage.
They put cabbage on their street toast.
Yeah, which is weird.
Bit of ham. But
also weird, yeah.
Yeah, but they like American things, but the American things are not very American.
No, they like the idea of American things.
Yeah,
the functionality like of Korean things. Yeah.
And
democracy.
Yeah. So
the birthday party doesn't go well. The dad gets locked back up in the basement room again because the dude wasn't dead.
The son gets knocked in the head with like a bowl, and he starts bleeding out in the pantry area. I think he dies. Right?
No, because the ending happens.
Yeah.
Basically, the dude who was almost gonna die goes and kills the Park family's dad. Goes around stabbing a bunch of people. The Kim family also, like, the daughter dies. It's all happens like
it's very
really quick.
It's very Quentin Tarantino.
I think the mom dies too.
Yeah, I think
the dad gets locked up.
Yeah,
not in jail, but in the basement. And then the son gets away. He did get injured, but he gets out.
Yeah.
The Park family left the house for obvious reasons. It was basically it's now haunted by their dad.
Yeah. By their former driver.
Yeah. No, because dad's locked in the basement.
Well, he's haunted the place now.
Yeah. Your dad killed the other dad.
Dad.
Because he said he smelled poor. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was very mad at that. That didn't make him feel good on the inside.
I agree with that.
When he heard that.
Yeah.
He heard how they viewed the poor people.
And then the Kim family son, after everything settles down and they stop looking for any culprits or accomplices to whatever, finds a job, gets some money, and buys the house himself so that he can get his dad out of the basement.
Wow, what a crazy turn of events.
Yeah.
So, can you speak to some of the symbolism that we see in there? I know that there was something about even the food that the rich mom asks.
The rich mom asks
Ramdan.
Yeah, which is like a seen as like a poor person food.
Yeah, mixing the two things together. Which was a Korean. They're both instant
noodles and beef.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know much else about that. I just know that the semblance there is that, like, given the choice, the rich will choose to cosplay being poor sometimes. I also know that there's some symbolism in the fact that working as a tutor is one of the only, if not the only job in specifically Korea where extremely poor people and extremely wealthy people interact. I can look for some more. Do you know any other ones?
In your book?
No, that book just tells me all of the things that happen in the movie. It's a good book. You should get it. It's a really good book. Oh, apparently the house that was built was a fictional architect's house that was actually built for the movie.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Oh, and Bong Joon-ho actually made it himself.
He designed it?
Yeah.
It's a very nice house. Very nice.
Yeah, and then when they consulted an actual architect, the architect saw the house sketches and said, "No idiot would build houses this way. This is ridiculous." It's pretty cool.
I thought it looked great. I would like to live there.
Oh yeah. This movie. Guess the budget. We like this game. Guess the budget.
We do like this game. Didn't you say no? That was the last review.
They all bleed together. $11.5 million.
Wow, I was about to give an answer, and it was $11.5 million. But whatever.
Guess how much it made.
I guessed it right before you blurted out what I was going to say.
Guess its gross revenue.
$300 million.
You're pretty close. It was $260 million.
See?
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm getting better at this.
You are.
I mean, the first one I got exactly.
It made a lot of money. It made a lot of money.
Deserved money.
Yeah.
Deserved money. I think we would both agree to that.
Oh, for sure. I like this movie a lot. And it does have a lot of like deeper symbolism. You can go into like every detail of this movie and it's thought about.
Yeah, like what?
Like the peach fuzz allergy or the peach allergy.
Oh yeah.
They got the peach fuzz and they were starting to put it all over the place for the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Because peaches are also seen as a very rich fruit.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing in Asian culture. Fruit is very expensive because there's not a lot of land real estate to grow it on. So getting fruit, unlike in America, is considered like you give somebody fruit if you were coming to visit. It's a gift that you give for, if you invite people over for a party, like they'll bring fruit as a thank you. I mean, over here, fruit's cheap, so.
Yeah.
Which I need to get some. I need to get some berries. I was told I need to eat more berries.
By who? Who'd tell you that?
The in-shape military guy that I have been working out with.
I'm sorry.
So I need to eat more berries, apparently.
What does this movie mean to you? We've heard my story of why I like it and why it means something to me.
Funnily enough, your experience exactly mirrors my own, so I have nothing more to say.
Wow.
No,
Every
I mean,
experience is unique.
So here's
Apparently
the thing.
not.
Here's the thing. Born and raised in America, with my mom being Korean and my dad being white, it's kind of like it's just kind of like a weird. It's a pride that feels a little bit odd to me. That's like because I didn't grow up in Korea. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I understand a few things just because of my mom and experiencing that culture through her and being in Korea, several times, on trips with my mom to visit her family. Oh,
I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
oh yeah, this movie's so boring. Would not recommend. No, sorry about that.
He's feeling a little ennui right now.
Yeah, time for my afternoon nap. I need my sippy cup and my blankie, and then it's time for nappy naps.
We got you.
After this,
Nappy nap time.
nappy nap time with blankie and sippy. Those are not things that I do. I promise. Whatever. We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about what does this movie mean to me. So what I was gonna say was that there is some pride knowing that it's Korean. Like I really like when Hyundai and Kia are making good products and people like what they're doing. Just for the sake of like, hey, that's Korean and I'm Korean.
Yeah.
I like it when Samsung does well and they make cool stuff and people like it. Hey, that's a Korean thing. I'm also a Korean thing, so.
I like their AI mascot.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah. So that's how it feels, but like, it's like, go Korea. You know what I mean? Like when they're in the World Cup and they're doing good, I'm like, all right, even though I don't watch soccer at all.
Yeah, we love K-pop.
Yeah.
Korean hot pot place.
And K-pop.
And K-pop.
Yeah.
I can't name any K-pop stars. I'm sorry.
I can't name any either, but I know.
Is BTS
Blackpink
Korean?
and BTS and some of those other guys that made it big in America. What's his name? Who? Yeah, he had his 2-hit wonders.
He's on the top,
Yeah.
like 10 of songs right now.
He's on the top 10
really? He
on
is?
iTunes right now.
What's his name again?
Jungkook.
That's the top of. That's what
Gangnam Style.
That's Psy.
Psy, yeah, that guy. So there's a little bit of pride there, but it's one of those things where like a good movie is a good movie is a good movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a good movie. This is a great movie, actually.
Yeah.
So as long as you can read subtitles, you're gonna be okay.
Do you wanna hear where I got my story wrong? As a little
I think
bonus.
we want to know. And you never told me at the end of Inside Out 2 what the secret was.
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, off
It's a
camera.
good secret. So where I got my story wrong is that I'm mixing up two separate instances of me being upset at the Academy.
Okay.
2016 was when La La Land came out, and it got snubbed for Best Picture by Moonlight, which I still believe is wrong. And I will maintain that till the day I die. This one beat out Joker. Was the only other Best Picture movie I think that I saw that year. Oh, and Jojo Rabbit. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was like, I want Jojo Rabbit to win, but I could see Joker winning somehow.
Which we did a review on Jojo Rabbit. So you should
And
watch that.
actually, I saw a lot of movies that year. Here's the rest of the ones that Parasite beat out. There's Joker, Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Marriage Story, Little Women, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Jojo Rabbit.
Wow, it beat out a lot of good movies. Those are a lot of good.
And so I
Once
saw
Upon
a
Time in
bunch of
Hollywood was
those.
Quentin Tarantino, and was very, very, very good.
Jojo Rabbit, phenomenal movie. 1917, very interesting war movie.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have given that one Best Picture anyway. Ford v Ferrari,
It was
like
good.
Who versus Who.
It was good.
Irishman
I rewatched it.
was an okay movie. Is a Martin Scorsese movie. They're all pretty much the same now. Little Women, phenomenal as well. And so I remember being like, I've seen most of these movies.
Little Women, real quick, was
Greta Gerwig.
Greta Gerwig, who also did the Barbie movie,
Mhm.
which we all loved, which was fantastic.
Which means you love Little Women.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it was
You love it.
I do love it.
by proxy.
By proxy.
And so the reason I was upset that Parasite beat it
I pre-love it.
was because
Parasite
out of all of
was-
them, I was like, at least Jojo Rabbit. At very least, Jojo Rabbit should have gotten that one.
It's so good.
And Parasite beat it. And then my friend Todd told me about Parasite actually being good. And I was like, but if it's just a social commentary about like the rich and the poor, why wouldn't Joker get it? And he said, no, dude, it was that good. I promise you. And I said, okay. So that was it. That was my silly little mix up. La La Land should have won Best Picture.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch through all of
dare
La La-
you.
I didn't watch through all of La La Land. I couldn't get through it.
Well, thanks for watching today, guys. Jarvis and I are going to go have a fist fight in my front yard.
Yeah, those were apparently fighting words.
Those were.
So, unfortunately, after today, there shall only be one. There can only be one. You know where that's from?
No.
Highlander. That was before your time. TV show and a movie about a guy who killed other people and took their powers to live on forever through time in history. So,
Okay.
if you slay me today, then you will gain my longevity in life and my powers.
All right, take us out, Jarvis.
Take us out.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Take us out for dinner at K-Pot. Okay.
Oh, you heard it. You heard it. He's doing it.
I can't. I'm broke.
It's okay.
I have zero money right now to spend. So,
Unlike the Kim family.
unlike the Kim family, who is not crazy rich, but they're
No, the Park family was crazy rich.
yeah, the Park
Kim family now has some money.
Yeah, that they got from the parks.
Yeah.
So, more of the story: be friends with rich people, or be their servants, so you can get some of their money.
It's effective, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then slowly take over their lives and ruin them.
Mm-hmm.
They ruined each other's lives.
Yeah. Mutually assured destruction.
Rich people and poor people should not interact. Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
That's not the moral of the story.
Okay.
Did I misread the?
I think
moral of that
I think
movie?
he went a little too far on that one.
I think the director of that movie went a little too far by being so accurate in his
Yeah.
depictions. He crossed the line. Shouldn't be that realistic. in
No.
movies. And that's all, folks. No. Another successful casual review by full-time movie fans.
Yeah, very casual. Is it casual now?
I don't know.
What was that referencing? Put it in the comments. It's a new thing. You know this one. You probably don't.
No, I don't.
No, you do, viewer.
Leave a comment. Do
Knees deep.
the other YouTube things. Like,
If you find yourself in the passenger seat, just hit that subscribe button.
yeah. Our next current goal at this point is to get to 69 subscribers.
Mm-hmm. And that could be you.
Could be. You could be our 69th subscriber.
Thanks for the pause.
So, guys, thanks for hanging out. We would love it if you left us with a like and a subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts on Parasite. Tell us some of the insights. Tell us some of the deeper things that you discovered as you watched this movie, that you learned about yourself and life in America from a Korean perspective. I always give a Korean perspective because I am Korean, so that's how that works. And as always, we hope your day is everything you dream to be and more.
Bye. Hey, you.
How'd you like that episode? Did you like it?
You like movies? You like this one?
Do ya?
You should subscribe to this
Yeah,
channel right
like
now.
Also, as well.
Yeah. You got friends? Yeah, you do.
Do you? Hopefully.
Show it to them.
Prove
Show
it.
this to them.
Prove it. Prove it to us you got friends.
There's other videos to watch too. Why don't you watch those if you're so cool?
Yeah, prove you're not a bot. Leave a comment.
Nerd.